Can I get a yeah? What's going on, Underworld crew? Hope you're having a good day so far, and boy do I have a treat for you guys, involving a weapon that you guys probably haven't used in some time. So say hello to my little friend, Tommy's Matchbook. With this build, you'll be able to ignite the battlefield consistently, combining it with the Act 2 and 3 artifact mods, along with the Precious Scars or an exotic class item if you decide to use them on Prismatic, which yes, you can. If you want to get the most amount of ignitions, I would say use straight solar, but if you want a bit more defense, Prismatic can be good. Let's get into the nitty gritty of this build and explain why I'm choosing Tommy's Matchbook. Ignition Trigger states sustained fire with this weapon overheats it and increasing the damage but burns the user. Tommy's has another perk called Heat Sink, which helps the burning by decreasing the damage if you're not aiming down sight, further pushing that old school Mafia mod set. This weapon's catalyst heat in the moment ties it all together in a bow. While Ignition Trigger is active, your health recovers more quickly and sustained fire scorches enemies. Now that we have the weapon out of the way, let's talk armor. For the stats, I would definitely say go with the tried and true resilience, recovery, and discipline. You can swap out recovery or even discipline. I just wanted high discipline so I can use my healing grenade, and for another ability we'll talk about later. For exotic armor, you have some options, but I went with Precious Scars because of its exotic perk, Kintsugi. Final blows from a weapon with a damage type matching your super create a burst of healing around you that grants allies restoration. This will help you keep you alive through the burn damage. But if you're playing with teammates, when you revive them or get revived, it also gives an 100 HP overshield to them and you as long as they're within 15 meters of you. If you're more of a solo player but still want to explode the battlefield, try out Lordly Splendor. With its perk, Cauterizing Flames, as long as you have a solar super equipped, casting your barricade or losing your shield will consume your class ability and spawn a sunspot at your feet that will heal you. Be advised though, because this has happened to me a couple of times on a solo dungeon run, you must touch the sunspot to heal. If you get pushed back by a cabal and it breaks your shield and sends you flying, the sunspot will spawn at your feet, but sometimes you get pushed back so far that you don't touch it before you get it pushed away. It's a bit finicky, but I thought I'd let you know. While I do believe Precious Scars is a better choice for this build if you're definitely going to be playing active, you want just a plug and play build and don't want to have to worry about it too much, Lordly Splendor can definitely get the job done. If you want to use this on Prismatic, you can. Like I said, I have a class item with Spirit of the Scars and Spirit of the Bear on it, so I still get the healing from Precious Scars, but I also get a boost to the Unbreakable aspect so I can move faster and gain super energy when blocking damage with it. This is the main reason why I said the Prismatic version can be a bit more defensible if you're worried about dying all the time, like in GM activities, or if you're not as confident with this build. But once you get confident with this build, I would definitely say go straight to solar, because it's a lot more fun and you get a lot more kabloomies. And pause the video. Just a little side note here for Bungie. Could we please do something to buff Unbreakable? Because it's almost useless, and to be honest, the only reason I even considered using it is because I had the class item and wanted to try something other than just Consecration Knockout. It's really hard to warn using a defensive option when we can basically nuke everything in front of us within 20 feet with Consecration, and that does not mean nerf Consecration. If I could make a suggestion, make Spirit of the Bear and also Ursa Furiosa give super and grenade energy when blocking damage. It's a small change that I thought might make Unbreakable more usable since it consumes your grenade to use it. Some might even argue that Spirit of the Inmost Light and Spirit of the Armamentarium is better for Unbreakable than Bear, and that just shouldn't be the case, saying that the only reason it's even on the exotic class item is for Unbreakable, because Banner Shield is not on Prismatic. So we have a mid-exotic perk that only works on an aspect that's also mid. Bungie, please do something about it. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Moving on to mods, on my helmet I have a Resilla mod, a Solar Siphon, a Heavy Ammo Finder, and a Scout. My gauntlets have a Resil mod, an Impact Induction mod so I get my grenades back faster, and 2 harmonic loaders for Tommy because it has 0 reload speed. For your chest piece, you can pretty much throw any resistance mod that you need for the activity, but I also have a charged up mod so I can have an extra armor charge. You're going to want 2 solar surges on your boots along with a recuperation for another way to get some health back. I also have a discipline mod on my boots. You can replace one of your surges with an innervation mod to get your grenade back faster as well if need be. Finally, for my class item, I have 2 bomber mods for more grenade energy and time dilation for my surges to last longer. The artifact mods I'm using are on screen now, but the mods that I would suggest that you must have for this build are Sustained Fire so you get resistance when firing an auto rifle, Targeting Autoloader to reload your weapon and increase your weapon's damage, and Solar Fulmination so your ignitions deal increased damage and an increased radius. You also can't go wrong with Radiant Orbs. For the weapons, you know I'm using Tommy's Matchbook of course, and my kinetic slot. You can almost use anything and everything, but in the moment I'm using the Call, and I'm probably going to craft one with Demolitionist later. The heavy weapon that I chose is Apex Predator. Now, you can use any heavy weapon you want as long as it's solar so you can take advantage of their surges, but you don't have to use what you want. finally, for fragments, for full solar, Ember of Ashes and Ember of Char is a must, so you can have multiple ignitions go off back to back. My last 2 fragment slots are filled with Ember of Empyrean to extend my effects of Radiant and Restoration with solar kills, and Ember of Eruption for even bigger eruptions. If you're playing with a fire team, you can replace Ember of Empyrean with either Ember of Benevolence to increase ability recharge speed whenever you give them restoration, or Ember of Blistering for more grenade energy so you can get your grenade back faster. On solar, you can use any melee or aspects you want. I'm just using Consecration and Solar Victus. Solar Invictus mainly so I can get my abilities back faster. On Prismatic, the fragments I'm using is Facet of Dawn for ease and Radiant, Facet of Sacrifice to help me get more Darkness energy, Facet of Ruin for increased range of ignitions, Facet of Protection for damage resistance when surrounded, Facet of Purpose for restoration when I pick up orbs, and Facet of Courage to deal more damage to targets affected by Darkness debuffs. I use Rally Barricade to get it back faster, Frenzy Blade as my melee, and then Shackle Grenade. My 2 aspects are Drenger's Lash mainly for the extra fragment slot, also I don't use it that much in Prismatic, and Unbreakable for the same reason. Drenger's Lash can also be fairly usable in endgame content to suspend unstoppable champions and other type of enemies that you don't want moving, so you can then make them explode like a firework. Let's talk about the gameplay loop. It's literally walk into a room and scream, "Say hello to my little friend!" and hold down the trigger and watch ignitions go off all over the place. Because of solar fulmination, ignitions give off 2 explosions, and that second explosion is enough scorch stack to set off another explosion if you have Ember of Ashes and Ember of Char on, and they'll keep going off if there's enough enemies in the room. I try to focus on the bigger targets first to set off constant ignitions to help clear the room that way. If you're running low on health, kill some ads to activate Precious Scar's healing. Doing so will also reload some of Tommy's ammo because of targeting autoloader. As you can see in this master Lost Sector footage that I got, you can fire for a really, and I mean really, I'm talking Actium War Rig lengths of time. So just rinse and repeat and explode every room you walk into. And I almost forgot, the cherry on top of that is that Sustained Fire gives you Resist 3, which is a 40% damage resistance in PvE, which stacks on top of the resistance you get from the Resilient stat. Now, the hard part about this build is you are walking around with just shield and almost no health. This Precious Scar healing does give you a lot of healing on top of that, but in Master and some GM activities, you will continue to get hit and hit hard and you will go down. So you have to play smart. You can't just run in this build and high-end activities and expect to completely destroy the entire room. If you're on GM, you will get shot. You're basically running around at 1 health. So play smart, play fast, and explode. But that's really the biggest downside in this build. You have to play smart. And if you want to be a bit more defensive, try the Prismatic section. While you're learning, it's a great place to learn, in my opinion. But like I said, as soon as you get used to the build and playing at that low health, switch to solar. The dividends double, if not triple, with the amount of explosions you can make. Bakugo, aka Lord Explosion Murder himself, will be jealous of the amount of explosions that you can make with this build. I love this build and it's so much fun that I'll probably be maining it for the rest of the episode. I'm glad I thought about it as soon as I saw those artifact mods, and I hope you guys give the build a try and let me know what you think about it in the comments below. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Remember to stay spooky and enjoy the fireworks. Peace.